Good morning, everyone that's joined already. We'll just wait a moment or two to allow everybody else that may want to join us to join, and then we'll start the webinar. We'll be going through improving citizen engagement in local authorities today. So just wait a moment or two for people to join. Thank you for those who've joined us already. We'll be starting shortly. Okay, so I'm going to start the presentation now. Hello everybody, hope you can see me there. As I say, we're here today for the Improving Citizen Engagement in Local Authorities presentation. I'm Spencer Cooper. I'm Technical Account and Project Manager here at Abovus. I'm joined today by my colleague Jacqueline Smith, who will be facilitating the webinar, and Darren Bird. So before we start, I'll just run through some brief housekeeping. So the session will be recorded and you will get a copy of the slides in PDF. The line will be muted during the presentation to reduce background noise, but please use the chat facility if required, as my colleague Jacqueline will be monitoring this during the webinar. If you have any questions, please use the chat facility and my colleagues will answer these either during or following the webinar, depending on available time. So the agenda for today, I'll just quickly run through that. We'll start with some background by looking at the challenges facing local authorities. Then I'll ask why digital, and I'll introduce you to Abovus and our My Council Services modules and some of our customers. I'll then highlight some of the key features of our engagement portal, eForms, native mobile app and CRM. I'll follow that by a live demonstration. So let's set the scene. So if we go back to 2005, we saw the rise of social media, resulting in customers looking for a more immediate response. This put pressure onto local authorities to invest in new IT and make improvements to business process. If we move forward to 2008 and the Public Services Spending Review, local authorities were faced with making cashable savings, which resulted in a reduction of available staff and resources. This further led to transformation and optimization. Then, bringing things right up to date with COVID in 2020, resulting in a rapid demand for cloud-based technology to allow for remote working. Alongside this, customers were driven towards online transactions, leading to a reduction in face-to-face contact and paper-based processes, green-lighting the move to put everything online. So why digital? Well, here are some useful and compelling statistics that might be worth thinking about. For example, 84% of UK adults own a smartphone, and 99% of all UK adults 16 to 44 are recent and regular users of the internet. And alongside this, the number of people aged 75 and over using the internet has almost doubled in the last 7 years, and stands at 54% of all people in that age category. So as you can see, the demand for digital is growing. So let's have a look at Abovus now and what we've got to do with digital and why you should consider working with us. So who are we and what is My Council Services? Well, we are an established IT vendor working exclusively with local authorities to provide digital transformation solutions. And during the last 10 years, Abacus has developed the My Council Services digital platform. And during that time, 18 million requests have been submitted through our platform. Our platform can be delivered as standalone modules or as part of a full enterprise solution, providing choice to local authorities. And we have consultants with real industry experience. I personally have over 20 years experience of working in local government frontline services, and both of my other colleagues also have local government experience of a similar amount. So who are our customers? Well, currently we have over 50 local authorities who use part or all of our platform. And over the last few weeks, we've added Bromsgrove and Redditch as full enterprise customers, and Chippenham as a mobile working customer. So how does My Council Services fit in with the local authority? Well, this slide shows a list of the core modules that we provide. We have many more that sit behind these and alongside these, but in terms of citizen engagement, these are the key modules. So we have Contact Center for direct customer contact and interaction. We have our customer portal and app for self-service. We have our assets, allowing for managing, booking, and maintaining council assets. We have our service desk for receiving and managing customer requests. We have our mobile working solution, enabling officers to receive and action work in the field. And we have our waste module, which provides automation and optimization of waste collection services. So let's take a look at what our customer portal looks like. As you can see, the portal can carry your corporate branding. The example you see here is Southend-on-Sea. On the left is a menu over here that contains link to other pages or forms. We call these tabs. And on the left-hand side over here is a menu containing notifications and telling us how many service requests, draft service requests, or for example, payments due. Underneath that, we have links in this case, on this client, to a third-party integration with a Revs and Ben system. So that therefore negates the use to have multiple portals and brings it towards a one-stop shop mentality. For the user, the administration and configuration of the portal is simple and straightforward. And for the customer, it provides this one-stop shop, allowing them to transact across the entire range of the local authority services. An integral part of our system is the eForm. We provide access to an eForm library with thousands of forms that can be downloaded and deployed rapidly. Our eForms are simple to configure, deploy, and maintain, whilst allowing for a high level of sophistication by using various plugins. For example, we have plugins for payments, maps, LLPG address data, bookings, assets, and contracts, to name but a few. Form fields can be automatically populated with customer information, such as name, address, and contact details, if they're already holding the system, and that improves accuracy and speeds up the form filling process for both the contact center and the customer. We also have intuitive eForm rules and outcome capability that improves the customer journey when completing forms. An example of this would be page visibility based on questions and answers. The key feature of our mobile app is that it is fully native mobile. And that's important because this means that forms are able to be completed offline in areas without network coverage. Then, when network is reacquired, the form can be submitted with no loss of data. As you can see from the screenshots of the examples from 2 different authorities, the app is fully customizable to reflect corporate branding and theme. This app on the left is set up in a grid fashion, so we have the sort of large blocks or grid pattern. And the one on the right is set up in what we call list, so one underneath another, okay? So fully tailorable, fully configurable for you the way that you want it. The customer is provided with a fast and intuitive interface, which allows for quick and easy reporting on our app. And in addition, we've also got the ability to book and pay by native app. Again, very much like our customer portal, it's simple to configure, deploy, and maintain. And configuration can be synchronized to both the web and the native mobile platform simultaneously. Also, using role-based access, the same app can be deployed to both customer and mobile workers, but provide different interfaces. Finally, let's take a look at our CRM. We provide the ability to search based upon people, address, service request, organization documentation, and users can see a 360-degree view of customer interactions and service requests. Service requests can easily be completed on behalf of the customer using the same form that you would deploy to the portal or to the app. And you can add knowledge articles and text forms so that customer service agents can see additional information to allow them to advise the customer about the service. We also provide functionality such as sending emails and text messages directly from the service request and contact center. So I'm going to give a demonstration now of those sort of key features. I'm just going to kill my webcam while I do this, just helps with the presentation. So bear with me while I stop sharing there, and I'll bring up a browser. There we go. Okay. So what you can see here on this view is our service desk view. I'm going to log into our customer portal first, though, and show you that. So sign in window to get to our portal. So I'm just going to sign in there. Let's make the screen a little bit bigger. There we go. So this is a demo portal. It's our demo portal. It's branded up as My Council Services. As I say, you can skin and brand your portal the way that you choose. It's also worth noting that we are able to handle multiple languages. So, for example, we've got the ability to put Welsh language, and we have a lot of Welsh authorities that use our portals and have the Welsh language functionality on there. On the left-hand side here is our menu or tabs, as I said earlier. And these link through to different pages or directly to a web form or a URL. In the case of the ones down here, if I click on this one here that says apply for it, it will link to a subsequent page, which shows the sort of grid view as we saw on the app. Okay, and if I was to choose one of these, it would take us into that service request. I'm going to do that in a moment. I'm going to come back to that and we'll show you how a customer will raise a request up. I just want to come back to the front page here though, because we've got a section here that says how we can help. And if I was to type waste in there, like that, it will do a search for me and it will bring up any forms that are on the portal that are accessed to me that contain waste within the description, but it will also bring up information. So knowledge-based sort of type articles, so I can click on there and read what I can or can't put in my bin, okay? On the right here, as I sort of said in the presentation, we have this sort of notification area that tells me or shows me my activity. So over here, I have a service requests section. So this tells me that I've raised 51 requests. So if I was to click on there, I can see the requests that I've raised. If I wanted to see how busy I've been in terms of raising requests, I can do that and get a nice sort of graphical view of what's going on. I can drill into my service request and have a look at that, look at the data that I've submitted as a customer. If I need to, I could add a document to that request. Okay, so I've got sort of a full view of my sort of interaction history with the local authority. Just drop back to the home page there. You can also see that here I've got draft service requests. So if I've half completed a form and I've got it in a draft stage, I can come back to it, I can click on it there, and I could go on to complete it and submit it. So I've got my draft requests as well. If I had any contracts, we have a contracts module. If I had any contracts like a Green Garden Waste contract, then I would be able to view that there. I don't have any contracts in this example, but what I do have is bookings. So if I have a click on here, I can look at all the bookings that I've made through our bookings plugins as a customer. Some of them, as you can see, I have gone past the date, so 6th of March. So I've got my history, but I've also got ones here that are current. So for example, a special collection or a bulky item collection. And because the way this has been configured on the system, as a customer, you can see here under this cancel column, I have the ability to cancel it. You can allow customers to cancel, or you can restrict it to back office use only. But in this case, as a customer, if I wanted to, I could click on there and cancel that collection. And again, further coming down the screen here, you can see that we've got that sort of integration into a third-party application, such as Rebs and Bens application. We've done a few of these now via SSO. As I say, it negates the need to run multiple portals. This one's test portal, I'm not configured up to Rebs and Bens system, but I would be able to sort of register here, and then once registered, I can obviously click on here, and if I was registered, it would pop me through to the Rebs and Bens system, and I'd be able to view my information there. So brief run through of how our customer portal looks. I say it is all tailable. You can put your corporate colors on, you can put your corporate logo on, and bear in mind, as say, if you're a Welsh authority, we do have the ability to sort of Welsh language the portal. We're quite proficient in that. So I'm just going to raise a request up now, like a customer would coming via the portal. So I'm just going to go onto this Apply It tab over here, and I'm going to book a bulky collection in this example. So I'm going to go onto here. Now, this is a test form. You can make your forms as long or as short as you choose to and put on as many fields as you wish. You can make them mandatory, not mandatory. Obviously, for demo purposes, it's quite a short form and a slick form. But just so you're aware, you can do that. That's all under your own control. You don't need to be, a programmer or a developer to do that. It's a very simple interface. You can do it yourselves, and you can publish them out rapidly. Okay, so I'm just going to click onto this icon down here that says Select Data Collection. This is our bulky waste plugin. Okay, and you can see straight away it's pulled through an address into that box there. It knows that this, from my customer account, that this is my address, and it's populated that field for me. So I haven't got to search for my address in there. If I was booking this for somebody else or on behalf of somebody else, obviously I could go in there and search for the address. In this case, it's populated it through for me, so I don't need to do that. By putting my address in there, it knows from the configuration which collections I'm sort of available to book. So if you have different rounds for different areas, you can configure that up. So based on my address, I will only see certain dates for collection. So in this case, I get a list of collection dates based on my address, and I'm going to select this 22nd of June date. I'll just confirm that. Okay. And then I'm going to just book this special collection. So let's just say I've got a cooker hob. I'm going to add an item to that. And we'll have some garden furniture as well, a garden chair, for example. So as I'm doing this, it's calculating the price up here for me. So at the moment you can see it's £12. I'm just going to add another item. And you can see the price increased to £18. So you can do the pricing based on items or weighting. In this case, it's based on a weighting. So it's calculated out the information. What you can put extra information on here as well, extra guidance to the customer. I'm just going to proceed to book that now. And as you can see, it sort of summarizes it for me on the next page there, so I can see what I've actually sort of booked. And then going to continue through with that form. At this point, I could add a file or a photograph, as it were. So if you like customers to put a photograph of what's been collected, so the collection crew know exactly what it is they're picking up, you can do that. The customer can upload that. Again, you could make that mandatory if you wanted to. It's not mandatory in this case, and I'll just sort of bypass that part of the form. You can integrate to a payment provider. So this is our payments plugin. So if you've got a payment provider already, existing payment provider, we can integrate to that. We've done several payment integrations: Civicus, Capita's, Adelante's, WorldPays, Barclaycards. So we've done lots of these very successfully. If I was to click on there now, it would punch me out to the payment provider's portal. All the payment provider portal information in the transaction is carried out there and their domain. Once that's done, it brings us back to the form. Okay, so I'm not going to sort of pop out to the payment on there today. Then at the end, get a little summary of the form, the form information that's on there, and I can then submit that as a customer. Okay, when I submit that, I'm just going to drop back onto the form here. If I then find or refresh this, you can see on my service desk view that request has come through. Okay, so that's the special collection that I've just raised, and as on the service desk view, I can see that, I can see the information. Okay, I'll come back to service desk in a moment, but just to show you how quick that was from customer submission to on service desk. While we're on sort of the service desk view, if I drill into this one, you can see that after that request, this is sort of one I prepared earlier, as it were. On this one, you can see that there's been tasks added to this, and the tasks can go out to a mobile device, and I'll show you that shortly. So it can go out to the crew that are collecting with the information on them to collect. Okay. So I'm just going to pop back to the customer portal and just drop back onto this service request view here as the customer. So you can see there's my history view of what's been submitted. And I can click on there and view the information if I want to, see what I've done. Again, add a document, add a photograph, whatever it may be to that collection I want to do. Okay, so I've got, as a customer, my own audit log. I can see what's going on. I can see my own service requests. I can track progress. If we go on to service desk again here, as I say, we've got the service desk view. I'm just going to refresh that view. Okay, now I don't know whether you saw that at the top there, but an owner appeared there. So if I just pop onto that request, that's the one I've just raised. And I'm just going to go onto this section here that's called history, just to show you that. So here you can see the sort of audit trail as an admin user now of that service request. So here it's come in, it's been submitted by a customer. It's automatically sent an email out as part of that process back to the customer to confirm receipt. And then you can see that based on rules here, so we've run some rules, it's provided the email out to the customer to confirm information. Again, it's put information in terms of ownership, which is important in terms of processing this in the back office. And it's also created a task that we can then push out to our mobile worker. Okay, so all that's happened by using our rules built into the system that have been configured around this service request. Again, the rules are very easy to understand, very easy to configure. nobody's had to touch this request from submission by the customer to actually get that task and get that job out to the mobile worker. Okay, it's all been done by the rules. So I'm just going to drop back into our service desk view here. Okay, and on here, let's say we can see the booking. As a service desk user, I can go in and I can look at the task. I can see who that task is assigned to. I can see the status of the task. I can add notes to that task if needs be, so the crew can pick those up on device. Okay, so lots of functionality I can do here in terms of service desk on the task itself. But likewise, I can do the same sort of things on the service request. So I can add an additional task if needs be for somebody else to do something. I can add a note, or I can add an attachment. Adding a note is a very simple process. I just need to choose a note type, give it a title, and put in a little bit of detail. Okay, and then I can just add that note. That note is then placed onto the service request. As you can see, there it is down there. Okay, and again, all that information would appear in the audit log or into the history. So you can see that note's been added there, by who and when. Okay, so that's our sort of service desk view. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the raising as a customer on a mobile app. So I'm just going to drop this back to service desk. And I'm going to bring over my mobile app. There we go. Here's my mobile phone. Now I'm just going to go into here and launch our app. So our app, as I say, is native mobile. It's fully native mobile. And you have a little widget as you do with any other app. I'm just going to go into this one here. That's our demo app, which is all tied in with this demo system that I'm working on to. When we go into that, as you can see, I've landed on a news page. Again, the app is fully configurable, just as the portal is. In my demo app, my homepage or my landing page is this news page. You can set that page to be whatever you wish it to be. So in this case, I've got a news page. Along the bottom here, I have links that I can click on and go straight to information. So for example, if I was to click on the user link, that would take me to my user account details. And again, very much as we had on the portal, if I just bring that portal back up. There we go. So if I just bring that alongside the portal, very much how we had this service request kind of view here. Again, you see, I can look at my reports and my draft requests. So if I was to click onto my reports, you can see there that I can see my submitted report. So here, for example, is that special collection that I've just raised. And I can click into there and I can view my questions and answers and any other information that might be on there, such as location. Okay. So again, I'm on the app, but I've got very similar functionality that I've got on the portal. It's nice and easy to understand. I've got a nice list view of the information that's there. If I click on that center one there, this is just sort of a quick link to some of your key sort of forms that you might want people to use, your high volume, high hitting forms. So for example, you've got things on there like BT, dog fouling, misbins, fly tipping, etc. Okay. I'm just going to click under this more section down here. Go on to this tab here called regulatory services. Again, different view here, as you can see under the more view. Again, this is a demo app, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. And I'm logged in as a user primarily, so I can show you the mobile working functionality in a moment. So some of the tabs you see on here on this more one, the mobile worker, the express worker, the mobile manager, they're controlled by RBAC, so a customer would not see those. I'm logged in, as I say, as a user, so I can see those. Okay, but even sort of forms tabs can be RBAC'd. Even individual fields on a form can be RBAC'd. So that's perfectly configurable by you. Say I'm logged in as a demo user here, so I can see more than your average customer would. Okay, so I'm just going to drop into this regulatory services tab, and I'm going to raise a fly tipping request as a customer would. So I'm just going to fill these forms in. Now these fields here, they're list of value form fields rather. So with this form, I can drive the input to those fields. I'm not giving the customer free text or free rein to type in exactly what they want. I'm driving them down in terms of specific text. That's important with something like fly tipping because there's a return that goes with it, and you need to have specific categories of information. So for example, in the amount of material list value field there, I can choose a small van load. Okay, I'm not able to type that in, it's defined for me. So in this case, that's good. It's not to say you can't give free text fields, and I'll show you some of those in a moment. So I'm just going to say that it's tires and it's on council land. Okay, so I've driven the customer to give me the categories and the field information that I want there rather than using free text. I'm just going to click on this next button here now at the top. And you can see here I've got a location map. So I can click on that location picker there, and I'm just going to say it's at my home address. Okay, it's on my home address. There it is. It knows where I live from my customer account. I'm just going to go and pick this menu up again though, because there's multiple ways that you can put a location onto the map. I like this easy pick view, which you can see puts a bit of a gun target or a sight onto the map. And that allows you then to be really quite accurate and move the map around with your finger until you get to where you want to. You can also, with your fingers, pinch and zoom in and zoom out. Okay, so normal sort of map functionality that most people are used to. So I'm going to say that it's here on the map, and then I'm just going to do that little tick at the top to get the information. Here's a free text box, as I said, so I'm not being driven to put information in here. I can type in what I want. So I'm just going to put in here, it's by the Bowling Green, okay? And then I'm going to click next at the top here. Okay. So again, this is a test form, but I could put lots of information here. So if I've witnessed the offence, I could put the vehicle registration in, description of the vehicle, other vehicle information. I am going to attach a photograph though, like a customer might want to in this case. I'm going to click on that little camera icon there. And that brings up a menu. So in this case, you can see I can take a photo with the camera. So clicking there would invoke the camera on the phone. Likewise, I could record a video if needs be. Or I can select a image from the library on my phone. So a photograph I've already taken. And that's the route I'm going to take today. So I'm just going to click on there. And I'm going to select a picture out of my folders there. Okay, so there's my picture of the fly tipping. I can edit that picture, as you can see there. I can add text to it, or I could specifically draw on it and say, you know, highlight part of the fly tip that I wanted to, or put a circle around something like that. And then when I'm done, I can say done. And you can see that image is then with the annotations placed onto the form. So I'm not going to put any more sort of information onto there, and I'm just going to submit that request now. So I click submit on there. See, it tells me it's submitted it. When it's successfully submitted, I get the number there. So say OK. And it pops me back to the front screen. Again, if I just pop into this user segment down here, and I go into that My Reports, you can see this, refresh that for me, and there's that fly tipping request that I've opened. So I haven't submitted this and lost track of that request. It's there for me to track and keep an eye on. I can click on it. I can see the current status of that request. As I say, I can see the answers to the questions that I put on the form, and I can see any sort of photographs or images that I put onto there. Okay. So as a customer, I've got oversight and overview of everything that's going on in terms of my requests on the mobile device, same as I have on the customer portal over here. Okay, so that's been raised up on there. So if we just go back, if I just move that out of the way now, again, we come back to our service desk view here, and I'm just going to go into street scene because that's where this one sits in terms of catalog. There we are. So here you can see at the top that flight tipping request that I've just raised again on service desk. So if I click on into there, there's the photograph. So I've got the photograph that's been submitted. I can download that. You can see there's a download facility there. Okay, but everything the customer's done or interacted with on that request and form that they've submitted in, I've got available to me here on the service desk. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that back to the front. And at the moment, you can see that this one has no ownership on it. If I go to the one below, which is one I sort of submitted earlier, while we wait for the rules to run on the top one there, you can see this one has got an ownership. Okay, again, there's an image on there. But if I scroll down, you can also see that there's been a task created on here. Again, that's a task created by the rules that we've got within the system. The ownership has been changed by rule to my device, so I can get that out to the mobile device, which I'll show you in a moment. And it's raised a task up and assigned that to me. And the task in this case is to go and remove that flight tipping. Okay. So if I bring the device over and show you that sort of mobile worker view now, so if I bring that up, if I go across here, and I'm going to click on this more again. As I say, I'm logged in as a user now. Customers would not see the mobile worker due to the RBAC. So I'm just going to go into this mobile worker section here. And I'm just going to pull my finger down the screen to refresh my list of work, just to make sure that I've got everything. And there you can see that's updated to 27. So I've got a special collection onto there in terms of service requests that I can see. If I go and click on this menu over here, it pops up a side menu and I can go and look at my tasks. So if I go and look at my tasks there, and again, I'll just pull my finger down there just to make sure that's refreshed. Okay, so you can see there's, from the requests that we've raised earlier, I've got a special collection task to go and collect that special collection. And if I clicked onto that collection there, I can see the information on it. And as a user, I can then add, if I wanted to, a note to that, or a signature, charge, for example. So I've got functionality there, very much as you do in sort of service desk view. And I can also update the status and the progress of what's happening there. So for example, if I've been out and I've collected this, and I just want to change the status of that to closed, I can say it's closed and sign off that task. Okay, by doing that, in this case, the way that this task has been set up, it's asking me for a signature. You don't have to put a signature on closure. This one has got a signature on closure. I'm just going to save that. And you can see that's disappeared off my list as a mobile worker. And I can move on to the next task that I've got to do. Okay. If I go into this flight tip report here, so this is flight tip report. I've got the location on there. I can see the photographs as well on there that were raised by the customer. I can see that, see the image on there, see the annotations, any comments are on there. So as a mobile worker, I've got all the information at my fingertips. It's been pushed out to device. And again, without anybody touching it in between, from customer raising it can get out to device to the worker to do the work. Doesn't say that you have to operate that way. If you have a triage stage or you want somebody to review it first before you punch it out to either customer or to user, you can do that, okay? But just so you can sort of see the sort of end-to-end flow there and the interaction back, you can do it seamlessly with the rules that we've got on the system. So I just pull that out of the way again, and I go back to that regulatory services catalog, rather than that waste catalog that's up there. Okay, so we've got the special collection on there. I can go on to that special collection. And the tasks are on there. As you can see, those and the notes are on there. So we'll just wait for that rule to run back and we can look at the closure on that, which would be good. So I'm going to show you Contact Center now, which is the bit that we haven't looked at. So we've seen Customer Portal, we've seen mobile app, we've seen mobile app from customer side from doing raising a request. We've also seen mobile app from mobile worker side actually dealing with that request. So let's go and look at the Contact Center now. I'm just going to click on the Contact Center link there. Okay. So as I said in the presentation, you've got numerous ways of searching on here. So we can look for people information, search requests, address. We've got a knowledge-based section on there, and we can search by organization. So for example, search for a person. If I just start typing a name in there, you can see it begins to give me a list or build me a list of anybody that's got Spencer within their name. Okay, and I could choose at that point the one that I was interested in, and it will bring the customer details up for me in terms of their interactions. Okay, so on here you can see the search requests that customer has had with the authority. I can walk through those and see all the history back as far as I want to go. I can drill into one of those, so I can click on it and drill down and look at the information that's on that form, see the images, and I can, from here, I can email if I so choose, for example. I can do that via a template or free. So if I just choose a template, for example, let's just say that one, you can see that it's brought me up a template of information. I can send that email directly from Contact Center. So I'm going to go into Outlook and copy and paste or anything like that. I can send the email from there. I can add attachments to it. If I send that email from there, that will be in the audit log or the audit history again. So we can see that that's been done. Okay. So if I just pop back to front screen of Contact Center today before we go any sort of deeper on there, and I'm just going to reset that view. So we can search on people, as you see, we can search on a service request. So for example, if the customer has a service request number or part of it, even not the whole number, we can start searching on that. So if I put in 19927, you can see it starts to build those up. If I put in 9, it takes me directly to the one that the customer's given me. Again, if I click on that, I can see that specific service request that's on there. Again, I'll reset that view. And if we have a look at address now, again, we've got full LLPG data on here. So you can search against your LLPG addressing. So I'm just going to put an address in here of IG1, which is my account address on here, as it said. And you can see that provides me then with all the addresses in South Park Road, and I can select one South Park Road. And then I can start raising a search request up against that if I need to. Okay. We have knowledge here. So knowledge is effectively sort of scripting or additional knowledge that you can give to your Contact Center staff. So if I start to type waste in here, take it back a step, you can see I can get 2 documents. So I can look at that one, for example, our information there. If you want to, you can attach documentation that goes along with that as well. So you can have a brief description here and further details or policies or terms and conditions you can sort of attach down as documents. So lots of information there. Before Contact Center members of staff has started to raise a request, they can deal with the inquiry and they can give information. You know, they've not got to know everything, but everything can be there for them to know. And again, we can search on organization, very much like we did as a person. So I'm just going to type help in there, and you can see we get help for heroes, and we can bring them up. Okay, so if we had any interactions against help for hero or any service request, we could see that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to raise a service request now from Service Desk, rather through Contact Center. So I'm just going to search for a customer, my test customer again. So I'm going to select that test customer. Over here on the right, before I do raise that request, you can see I can view certain things. So now I've found that customer, I have the ability to view information about that customer and that customer's activities. So if I click on profile, I can view their telephone number and address, little things like that. I can look at any asset bookings, for example, that they've made, and I could see, clicking on there, go into that service request and look at that service request. If I clicked on there, I could go into that booking and see that booking as well. I can look at any event bookings that they've got. I know this customer hasn't got any, but they have got waste bookings. So again, I can go in there and look at the waste bookings. And again, I can cancel that for the customer there and then, or I can go into that booking and have a look at that, and I can cancel it from there or see more detail on it there. Okay. So lots of functionality on there. Sorry, I'll just go back to Contact Center before I actually get to raise the request. Okay. I'm just going to click on service request here now to actually raise the service request against that customer. So once I'm happy to raise it, it then lets me choose which catalog and form to choose. So all our forms sit within catalogs. In this case, in the waste catalog, I'm going to choose a form called Garden Waste ED. And I'm going to create that form. So again, test form, giving us a little bit of information here. Again, I've set this form up, so when I'm on the form, I can get that information that we had previously on the main contact center view, so I can go in and have a look at that while I'm raising the form for the customer. Also here, you can see this section here that says this is demonstration of guidance for the contact center. Guidance can be set up on the form. Customers don't see that, but I can also hide that guidance if I want to. So if I'm now skilled at using this form and I feel I don't need the guidance anymore, I can hide that guidance off. So I'm just going to say next and go to the next page. So on here, I'm just going to choose that I want one bin off that select list. And I'm going to say that I'd like an additional brown bin in this case. And then when I click on to next, you can see again on here, it knows my address. It's popped it into there already. But that's my home location based on my account, based on the details held on the system. I haven't had to sort of type it in or search for it. It knows that customer's information and has popped it in there. Of course, if that customer doesn't have address information, I could put it in there and search for it. Okay. And again, you don't have to have the map. It's on here for demo purposes. You can literally just have the search box there, okay, for the addressing. Okay. Again, down here, it's pre-popped my first name, surname, email address. I haven't got a telephone number on my account, so it hasn't put that in. So I'll just type one in and click next. Okay. If I didn't type that in, I take that out and said next, it would warn me that that was a mandatory field and I needed to complete it. Okay, so let's do it. We've got some calculations going on in the background on this form on the fields that we've already completed. So I chose how many bins that I wanted, how many subscriptions, and it's calculated the overall price for me. And again, if I wanted then to set up this direct debit, I could click on this plugin down here, and that would link to the direct debit provider, and the process would be carried out there. So again, summary on the end. So as a customer service advisor, you can see the information that's on there. Again, the information on the summary screen is tailorable. You can show or not show. In this case, all the questions are shown. And then I can submit that service request on behalf of the customer. Okay, and straight away you can see that that interaction, that service request is on the list here on Contact Center underneath that customer. Okay, and again, if I go into Service Desk, you can see that Garden Waste DD form is sitting on there under Service Desk. So in terms of work queue, back office, that can be picked up, managed, worked on, updated, status is changed. So I can close that off. and say it's work in progress, etc. Okay. So we've looked at customer portal, we've looked at our mobile device in terms of customer and in terms of user, in terms of mobile worker. We've looked at raising requests as a user on the mobile device and dealing with it as a mobile worker on the device. And we've looked at our contact center and service desk. So it just leaves me to say thank you for joining us today. As I said earlier, the slides will be available to download, and we will email you the slides across. A recording will be made available as well, has been recorded today. If you wish to contact us, please do. You know, if you'd like a separate demonstration or you'd like us to look at anything that we've shown you today in more detail, maybe mobile worker or the mobile app, or more detailed view of contact center, etc. If you contact us, we can set that up for you. So again, I think it just lets me say thank you again for joining us today. Appreciate your time, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.